following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Welcome into Friday edition. We made it to Main Street Sports today on the program. Our weekly visit with Jeff M and the Nashville Sounds. Of course, we'll talk a little NFL draft first round. Not much happened last night, especially not with the Titans, so we'll talk about that. Man, what a night. Wendi Scott, new Lawrence County girls basketball coach, also former Lawrence County girls basketball coach. She will be joining us around 2:45 this afternoon. And we'll look ahead to the weekend. Of course, our daily Braves chatter, including this day in Braves history. So we look forward to getting things rolling, and we'll do it right now. JP here with you alongside the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao, as Mo is on vacation. Well-deserved. Chris, happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday indeed, JP. It is a beautiful Friday outside. If you've not looked outside, you should definitely do that. It's a great day for high school sports, college sports, all kinds of great stuff going on this weekend, and we're going to get into that in just a second. Our top story today comes, I don't think there's any question here. The Tennessee Titans have gone rogue, and we will spend an entire segment, if not longer, dealing with the being upset from last night's draft. I have so many words.
Well, hold on.
And yet none.
As Mo likes to say from time to time, speak for yourself on being upset. I've got a contrarian view, perhaps.
Maybe. We'll see. It's
but you know, I am the ultimate optimist.
It's been a week. All in the last 20 or 12 hours. So anyway, we got a lot to get to today, and we're going to do that. So let's go ahead and hop right in, JP, and I'm going to send it back to you. Tell me what's going on this weekend and yesterday's results on the rundown.
All right, let me well, you went quick to me. Hang on.
Yeah, well, we got to get to it quick because it's a 12-minute ordeal here.
There we go.
Rundown. The Friday Rundown is brought to you by Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates. The voice of the Blue Raiders also wants to be your trusted advisor in real estate. Contact Chip at 615-542-1915 or through his website at choosechip.net. Chip Walters, proud to support local youth sports in southern Middle Tennessee.
All right, let me re-rack. Here we go. All right, high school baseball from yesterday. It was Franklin over Brentwood, 8-4 the final there. Rossview shutting out Clarksville 10-0. Waverly over Innsworth 3-1. Grace Christian Franklin with a pair of wins over Webb School 10-0, 13-2. Greenbrier down Beach 6-3. Hampshire 9-1 winners over Frank Hughes. Harpeth Hall over Hickman County 5-1. It was Hillsboro 16-0 over East Nashville. Nolensville 4-3 over Independence. Centennial 7-3 winners over John Overton. Lipscomb Academy 6-5 over Father Ryan. CPA falls to MBA 4-3. Mount Juliet 3-1 over Dixon County. Oakland falls to Siegel 3-1. Page 8-3 winners over Fairview. Portland 4-3 over Macon County. Summit down by Ravenwood 11-1. It was Riverdale shutting out Columbia 9-0. Rockville by a single run over Blackman 5-4. Santa Fe 11, Wayne County 3. Spring Hill 7-1 winners over Giles County. Station Camp bested White House 8-2 with Stewart County 10-0 over Joe Burns, 4-6-3 over Summertown, and Westmoreland 12-2 winners over Hume Fall. Softball yesterday, BGA 7-3 winners over Clarksville Academy. Clarksville Northeast shut out by Clarksville 15-0. Columbia 9-1 winners over Ravenwood. DCA over Franklin Road Academy 13-1. Henry County 5-3 over Dixon County. It was Marshall County 4-1 over Giles County. Friendship Christian 4-1 over Grace Christian Franklin. Greenbrier 10-6 winners over Creekwood. Lewis County shut out by Loretto 10-0. Middle Tennessee Christian 15-0 over Ezell Harding. Summertown 26-0 over Mount Pleasant yesterday. Riverdale 9-3 over Rockville. Fayetteville 10-9 over Santa Fe. Oakland falls to Siegel 15-4. Stewart's Creek 7-3 winners over Smyrna. Page 12-1 over Spring Hill. Station Camp 9-0 over McGavock. Westmoreland 3-1 over Portland. And Christian Community falls to Zion Christian 16-1. On the pitch yesterday was Franklin shutting out Columbia 4-0. Columbia Academy 6-1 winners over Middle Tennessee Christian. Cookeville 2-1 over Mount Juliet. Gallatin 3-2 over BGA. Zion Christian falls to Giles County 4-1. Harpeth over Republic 2-1. Hendersonville 6-1 over Maplewood. Watertown 2-1 over Jackson County. It was Smyrna 5-1 over Lebanon. Murfreesboro Central Magnet 2-0 over Marshall County. It was MLK 6-0 over Nashville Christian. Elsewhere, Braves baseball last night. It was 5-1 over the Cubs, and the Sounds get a win over St. Paul. We'll talk with Jeff Him coming up in our next segment. On the slate for today, a beautiful Friday for outdoor high school sports. Get out and enjoy some of these games. Should be underway. First of two between Middle Tennessee Christian and Franklin Road Academy. Antioch and Martin Luther King, 4 o'clock, 4:30 first pitch for the following games. University School of Nashville at BGA. It is Nashville Christian at Friendship Christian at 4:30. Elsewhere, Innsworth at Father Ryan at 4:30. Easel Harding at Good Pasture at 4:30. At 5 o'clock today, you'll see the following games. Tennessee Heat at Christian Community and Mount Juliet Christian at Clarksville Academy. Also, Davidson Academy is at DCA. At 5:30, East Robertson hosts Sycamore. Richland at Fayetteville. Coffee County welcomes Riverdale. At 6 tonight, Ravenwood is at Centennial. Zion Christian at Culleoka. Dixon County hosting CPA. Franklin at Independence. Also, Hendersonville at Oakland. Springfield hosts Clarksville Northeast. Stewart's Creek is at Page. Gallatin welcomes Hume Fogg. Harpeth 6:15. Don't miss that one. Hosting Hickman County. Then at 6:30, Hillwood at Pope John Paul II. Mount Pleasant at Fairview. Hampshire at East Hickman. Cheatham County welcomes Portland. Lawrence County just north of their campus at Summertown and county rival tonight. Joe Burns. Schaefer should be hopping in a few hours. Joe Burns at West Creek at 6:30.
Is that baseball?
It is baseball.
Oh, I will be at that game.
Oh, there you go.
They're honoring the 92 championship team Summertown is.
Wonderful, wonderful. State championship 92. I remember that team very well. Their coach, Jason Burleson, was a member of that team.
That's correct.
Probably all the coaches there were members of that team. Once you're in Summertown, you're Summertown for life. Joe Burns at West Creek at 6:30. Fort Campbell, Kentucky is at Clarksville Northwest. And then at 7 tonight, you'll see Mount Juliet at Cookeville. Also, White House Heritage at Green Hill. And playing today, Providence Christian at Columbia Academy. Nope. Wrong music. There we go.
Yes.
Softball.
Dum.
Multitasking. All right, here we go. Softball Seagulls at Baylor at 4 o'clock today. Also, White House Heritage at East Robertson. It is Friday, folks. DCA at Middle Tennessee Christian. Ravenwood hosting Lipscomb Academy. These are 4:30, by the way. At 5, Upperman at Murfreesboro Central Magnet. Loretto welcomes Wilson from Alabama at 5:30. Culleoka hosts Community. Westmoreland will travel across the state line to take on Allen County, Kentucky. Lawrence County hosting Mars Hill Bible from Alabama, also at 5:30. Hendersonville is at Gallatin at 6 tonight. Columbia travels just north to take on Spring Hill, also at 6. Zion Christian at Harpeth at 6. At 6:30, it'll be Green Hill and Riverdale. Tullahoma at Spring Hill at 7. Also at 7, you'll see Rockville at Warren County and Houston County. What's up?
I'm curious how Columbia and Spring Hill are going to play for an hour, and then Tullahoma's going to play for an hour. So I'm curious who's actually going to be playing at Spring Hill. It's probably Tullahoma, since that is a district game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, there you go. Maybe
anyway.
The red team and the white team. I don't know. Boys soccer today. It'll be 5 o'clock. Loretto at Decatur County Riverside. Zion Christian at Culleoka at 6. At 7, Gatlinburg Pittman heads west to take on Fairview. That's a long haul. Gallatin taking on Siegel. Coffee County at Green Hill at 7. Merrill Hyde welcomes Beach at 7. Also at 7, Rockville at Oakland. Summit at Page. Station Camp welcomes Ravenwood. I believe this is Station Camp's first game since the abrupt ending. Although I did see Chris and that they're going to
finish
complete it. Wonderful with Hendersonville. So
it's good news.
Follow Zach Womble for all the details surrounding that saga. Brentwood is at White House at 7. Laverne at Wilson Central at 7. Saturday baseball, 11 a.m. tomorrow morning. Murfreesboro Central Magnet, Decatur County Riverside, also at 11. Centennial and NBA. 11:30, you'll see Lipscomb Academy, Pope John Paul II. At noon, Independence at Franklin, and Beach and Green Hill, Mount Pleasant and Collinwood, Summertown and Wayne County, Columbia and Stewart's Creek, Waverly and Harpeth. At 1, University School of Nashville, BGA. Also, East Robertson and Westmoreland. 1:30, you'll see Murfreesboro Central Magnet hosting Scotts Hill. Also, you'll see, thank you, Cookeville at Brentwood at 2. 2 o'clock as well, Hillwood at Brentwood Academy. Rockville, Coffee County. Kenwood welcomes Fort Campbell from Kentucky. Ensworth at Lipscomb Academy. West Creek at Rossview. Also tomorrow at 2:30, Harpeth at Waverly. At 4 o'clock, Zion Christian, Lighthouse Christian, Antioch. Moore County at Pope John Paul II at Forest. At 6, Station Camp at Wilson Central. Also Eagleville at Decatur County Riverside. Lawrence County hosting Loretto. That's a nice double dip for Lawrence County. Summertown tonight, Loretto tomorrow. Columbia at Stewart's Creek, Scotts Hill at Eagleville, Providence Christian at Columbia Academy. Softball tomorrow, 11 a.m., CPA Zion Christian. Also at 11, breakfast in Lexington with Summertown. Well, it may not be in is that a tournament? I guess
it is at Lexington, though.
It is at Lexington? Okay.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Summertown also plays at 1 versus Brighton and at 3 versus Dyer County. So they get a full day at Lexington. They get breakfast, brunch, and lunch. Beach at Station Camp tomorrow at 3:30. It is Siegel taking on Rogers, Alabama at 4. And at 5 o'clock, Columbia Academy taking on Nashville Christian. Boys soccer tomorrow, Hillsboro at Giles County, 11 a.m. And at 4, Grace Christian Franklin hosting Gatlinburg Pittman. My guess is, Chris, that Gatlinburg Pittman, they'll be staying overnight, or is that the... They're playing, yeah, because they're playing Fairview tonight.
Right.
Yeah, I was making sure I had the right sport there. That would make sense. You come this far, get a little Middle Tennessee. Yeah, let's play 2. Weekend series in college baseball. Tennessee welcomes Auburn. Vanderbilt hosts Texas A&M. MTSU welcomes UTSA. That's San Antonio. Central Arkansas is at Lipscomb. SEMO is in Nash Vegas to take on Belmont. Austin P at Toledo. Division II, Trevecca will be at Walsh. A doubleheader today, doubleheader tomorrow. NAIA Mid-South Conference Tournament postseason baseball. Here we go. Cumberland at Thomas More. Best of 3.
Feel bad for Thomas More having to grab what would have been the number 1 seed in that tournament.
That is right. Yeah, Cumberland had games wiped away.
Yeah, so feel bad for Thomas More.
Yep.
But at least they get to play at home.
There you go. Vol State's at Motlow and JUCO. Columbia State hosts Walters State. College softball weekend series. Tennessee and Oxford to take on Ole Miss. MTSU welcomes La Tech from Ruston. Eastern Kentucky's at Lipscomb. Belmont hosts Eastern Illinois. It is Tennessee State at Morehead State. Austin P at UT Martin. NAIA Trevecca. Doubleheader with Lake Erie today. Doubleheader with Ursuline. Is that right? Ursuline?
Yeah, it's also Division II, and I apologize.
That's all right. Oh, there we go. Either way, Trevecca. You know where Trevecca is, folks out there.
Right.
And Cumberland is taking on Bethel. That is a best of 3 as well in their Mid-South Conference tournament. JUCO softball, Motlow State takes on Vol State, and Columbia State welcomes Walters State. NHL Preds final regular season game at Arizona tonight, 9:30 Central. Valley Sports South. Again, no UC Soros. Game 6 tonight between Memphis and Minnesota. The Grizz can clinch the series with a win up in Minnesota. 3-2, the lead there. If Game 7 is necessary, it will be
Sunday.
Sorry. 2:30, ABC. Braves begin a weekend series at Texas. You were talking about throwback uniforms by Texas, right? Starts tonight, 7:05 Central, 6:05 tomorrow, and 1:35 on Sunday. It is Ian Anderson on the mound for the Braves tonight versus Richards. Sounds finish their weekend series, or their long week series, with the St. Paul tonight, 6:37, Saturday and Sunday afternoon matinees in St. Paul. And then MLS Sunday, it is Nashville against Philadelphia, 3 o'clock on ESPN. And scroll down.
That's
That is your Friday rundown. There we go.
I nailed
Brought
it.
to you
I
by
said it was
Choo-Choo
12
Bennett.
minutes. I said it was 12 minutes, and it
We
was,
got
in
it?
fact, 12 minutes.
Ooh, hot dog.
That's right. It's we failed, however, I failed to put the Preds score in from last night, despite their win. So 3-2 win last night for the Predators. I missed that one, JP. My bad.
Yes. Well, it's
okay.
Does that mean anything in their?
It absolutely does. It means they now control their destiny if they want to avoid Colorado in the playoffs.
Okay.
And first round, they have to beat Arizona tonight. So that's huge.
To avoid Colorado.
To avoid Colorado, but then you play Calgary,
Calgary.
who you just lost to 2 nights ago.
Take your chances against
Almost.
Colorado. Calgary, you get beat up.
There's that.
While you do some beating up.
No doubt. Let's talk to Jeff Him. He's up in St. Paul, Minnesota. So we'll see if he can.
Saying it now too.
We can see if Minnesota. I had an art teacher from Minnesota.
Okay.
In school, so
My wife
we used to say that a lot.
Years in Minnesota too. St. Paul, actually. Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll talk to Jeff Him and see what the weather's like.
Yeah,
up there
exactly.
on the other side of the break. So y'all stick around. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee, because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
All right, it appears, Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, there we
here.
go.
I just
Okay. Froze
my
up.
mic was muted for whatever reason.
That's all right. Froze up on me.
It's all good.
We're back.
What's going on? We are.
It's
It is Friday.
Friday.
Main
Friday in the
Street.
hood.
Yeah, Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. And Friday means it's time to talk a little minor league baseball. That's always
Yeah, boy.
an exciting time for us, especially when coming off of an afternoon delight win. JP. It's always a
Afternoon
delight.
delight.
Always a delight to get a win on the road. It's even better to do it in the afternoon when it's not freezing cold outside. But it will be cold tonight, I assume. And Jeff Him joins us now, the play-by-play voice of the Nashville Sounds. Jeff, what's the weather been like sans yesterday?
Well, it's been chilly. It has been mostly temps starting with the number 4. Right now it starts with the number 5, but it's supposed to be a little wet tonight. So we'll see. But last night was not that bad. I mean, it's a relative term, still not the way these guys would draw it up if they could have their choice. But it's all been about the wind. We've had a couple of days where it was cold, but it wasn't all that windy. So guys were saying, it wasn't that bad. And then other days where, like last night, the temperatures were in the 50s, but it was very windy. And being a night game last night, the guys, bundled up, and you could just tell it was a little bit less ideal out there. But you wouldn't know it from the way they swung the bat last night. They hit 4 home runs into the wind. Weston Wilson hit 2. Bryce Terang hit his first of the year. Terang's looked as good lately as I've ever seen him. He's just so consistent and seems so confident right now, playing great baseball. So that's been fun to watch, especially in a series where the Twins have their top prospect on the St. Paul team, Royce Lewis, number 1 pick from 17, number 1 overall pick from 17. So you got 2 excellent shortstops in this series, and we've seen some good baseball, and hopefully the weather will allow us to play ball tonight, and the Sounds can try to even the series.
Yeah, yesterday I was we were expecting to see Ethan Small take the mound, but it ended up being Caleb Bushley. And was the website just wrong, or was there a reason that Ethan Small did not take the bump last night?
Yeah, so Small's going to pitch tonight. And
Okay.
It's a very harmless situation that just didn't get all the way to the full lines of communication where things like websites could get changed. So Caleb Bosley is from about 4 hours from here in Wisconsin, and his brother's getting married this weekend. And so they swapped Caleb and Ethan so that Caleb could pitch last night and attend not just, I believe it's a Saturday wedding, not just the wedding, but being his brother, there's a rehearsal, and you guys all know how that works. So there's a whole weekend of festivities that this will now allow Mr. Bosley to attend, which is great. These guys don't always get to attend all the life stuff that can happen, but something like a sibling's wedding is pretty important. So that's
And luckily
the reason
only 4
for
hours away.
the switch. Right, exactly. I mean, it ended up being perfect. Worked out great. So that was the reason for the switch. It just didn't come down the pike all the way until yesterday, and that's why people were wondering, wait a minute, I thought it was Small tonight, but it'll be Ethan tonight, weather permitting. Gotcha.
Okay. Well, that's great news. I just didn't know if there was anything specific that that was going on. So that is great. Congratulations to.
Well, and Ethan being as good as he is and as highly touted as he is, anytime there's a change in any way, shape, or form with a guy that people know when he's going to pitch, they're looking forward to it. They know the pedigree, and this is a guy that more than likely at some point this year you would think is going to pitch in a Brewers uniform. When he doesn't end up taking the mound and he's listed in areas to take the mound, you weren't the only one, suffice it to say, who was curious what happened last night. There's nothing more to it than a simple switch so that Caleb can be at his brother's wedding.
Hey, Jeff, on that wedding topic, maybe you can mention the next time that family has a wedding. Our very own Chris Yao is a wedding
Yes,
DJ.
that's right.
I mean, maybe we could get,
hey.
I mean, keep it maybe in the family, perhaps. We can make that work out.
How I didn't get that gig in Wisconsin, I'll never know.
I know, right?
I know, man. I have so many questions now, but I don't want to derail our interview. I didn't know all this.
Yes.
I have questions, but
I have
the
continue to talk baseball.
Yeah, the electric
we
slide
talk
and
DJ?
all, Jeff. I mean, yeah, I'm always up for odd content. So if you got questions, ask away.
I mean, we could
Ask
figure
away,
it
Jeff.
out.
Well, I just, being married myself, we went through the process. It's 14 years ago now, and we were living in Illinois at the time. But the DJ conversations were very important to us about, what are you going to play? What are you not going to play? What are you going to play that we want you to play? What are you going to try to play that we don't want you to play? I said, Chris, this is an interesting world. I'm sure that you could share plenty of stories about, the music at a wedding is a critical piece.
I will tell you, Jeff, I send out because obviously it's 2022 now. I send out a Google form, and I tell them, listen, I want you to list all the songs you absolutely want me to play, and then I want you to listen to all the songs you absolutely do not want me to play. And it really works out. There are some folks, like I had a lady the other day tell me, I don't want you to play the Cupid Shuffle or the Cha-Cha Slide. And I'm like, how am I going to get people on the dance floor? Like, I'm very confused right now. This is not how this usually works. So, I mean, it's going to be that won't be unique, but for the most part, yeah. I mean, I've got 2 or 3 playlists that I can make sure, we've got the 80s, the 70s and 80s for one part, and then you've got the today's music for the other part. And typically when you combine the two, you can get through, a couple of hours of dancing pretty easy. But yeah, it's a pretty important part. People get a little testy, but I've been doing it for over a decade now. So at this point, I feel like I'm pretty savvy in that department. So
Jeff, I'm curious, what was your first dance, Jeff? You mentioned about being married for several years. What was your first? Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Our first dance it's a song called "The Promise" by Tracy Chapman.
Okay.
That my wife and I don't remember exactly what got us onto that when we were dating, but it became a special song to us. So that was our first dance song. But I would say we had a good DJ at our wedding, and there were only a handful of songs that were like, hey, we just like to avoid this one, but we had more that we wanted to play that we than we didn't want, or that we cared not to have played. So it was good. But are you a DJ, Chris, who takes a lot of requests, or do you've got the list pretty well filled that there's not a lot of room for that?
I think actually he just dropped off. Maybe he was getting a call about from Minnesota about doing a gig. But Jeff M is our guest, Nashville Sounds play-by-play voice. While he tries to get back in, Jeff, I will ask you about this St. Paul series, and talking earlier in the season about this is one of those series that the major leagues and the fans asked, who do you want to see? And because of the major league tie-ins of the proximity of Milwaukee and the Twins, this kind of came up. So what has it been like from that perspective, the fans up there watching this team from Nashville that they probably have never seen?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think these kind of matchups are fun, whether it happens, every year in this case, or every other year, or every few years. I do hope that there's this component going forward, that there's at least a team or two that you play. Maybe next year we play a team that we haven't yet played, and next week we've got Norfolk coming in, Orioles AAA. The Sounds have never played the Norfolk Tides, so that'll be cool. It's been hard to gauge this week just because the weather has been so cold. They've had okay crowds, but I'm sure the Saints would like to have had a little bit bigger crowds these first few nights. It's just been so chilly that even though fans up here are used to the cold, it doesn't make it any more enjoyable necessarily to choose your night to be at a ball game. I'm hoping that this weekend will show some bigger crowds, but there definitely have been there's been some Brewers gear in the stands these first few nights, just because people are aware that the Brewers AAA team is in town, and that's been pretty cool. I love that with all the Braves and Cardinals and Reds fans in Middle Tennessee, while of course we want them to support the Sounds, we have no problem with the fact that we play those teams, and teams in Middle Tennessee can now come out and watch a Gwinnett team at our park because they are Braves fans. So I think it's cool for St. Paul to get that from the reverse side, and hopefully those kind of matchups can continue in future years.
Well, it's definitely a lot of fun. I think Chris is back. Chris, can you hear us? And are you? He's muted. So anyway, Jeff, you back, Chris? No, he's not. All right. So, little technical difficulties, Jeff. What we'll do is we'll let you slide on out of here because you've got still a weekend series to attend to before you come back home and take on Norfolk, as you mentioned. So, Jeff Ham, Nashville Sounds play-by-play voice with us each and every Friday. Jeff, we appreciate it. Stay warm, all right?
Guys, be well. Thank you, and we'll see everybody out at the yard next week.
There you go. All right, Jeff M. right there. Nashville Sounds play-by-play voice. We will take a timeout, and when we come back, we will visit more. We'll get Chris back in there, so stay with us. Wendi Scott in the second half as well. This is Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stay with us.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones and Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones and Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. JP, I'm back.
You are back. I told Jeff, I said you must have gotten a call from Minnesota about a DJ gig. Maybe that was the reason that you had to hop out for a moment.
Yeah, I heard that, but I didn't hear him answer your question. What was his first dance? It was Tracy Chapman?
Tracy Chapman, yep. It was a Tracy Chapman song. Mm-hmm.
Look at there. Never played that one before for a first dance, so go figure.
Tracy's that's a good one. She's probably got half a dozen songs that could be strewed as a potential first dance.
Yeah, she's phenomenal. I love Tracy Chapman.
What was yours and Sarah's?
Legacy by the Cadillac 3.
Okay. All right.
So it's as Hall of Fame as I want to be.
Yeah. Jody and I went to old school. We went to Beach Boys. Wouldn't it be nice? Mm-hmm. Of course, we were at the beach. We had a beach wedding.
So did we.
Yeah.
That's all.
There you go.
Beach weddings are nice. I like them.
Destination,
especially when there was nobody else there. It was just us.
That's right.
So, and talk a little Braves here because we've got Wendi coming up here in just a few minutes. So I want to go ahead and get the Braves out of the way. And I'm also, kind of teasing folks along to stick around on our Titans thoughts.
Yeah, we really
So-
haven't talked much about that yet, have we?
We have not, and that's
Other
been
than
by
it
design.
happened? Yeah.
Yeah, a little
Yeah, we got to
by
keep
design.
people engaged.
We'll tell you exactly what we think about it,
Uh-huh.
but it'll be later in the show. Last night, the Atlanta Braves got their first series win since winning the World Series.
There you go.
That is
Any
huge.
coincidence that Junior was back in the lineup?
No, I don't think there's any
Doesn't it feel
coincidence
right?
at all. I mean, obviously I think he went 1 for 5, but he did have a single and a run scored, so that's ideal. It's exactly what you want to see from him, and he was apparently told that he wasn't going to be playing today, and he was like, "I don't know about all that, homie." He was like, "I'm kind of planning on being here. You brought me here. Why are we sitting me out? What's going on?"
He may have said, Freddie Freeman taught me to play every day, not take any breaks. So come on.
I mean, Acuna did go 1 for 5, but he had 2 stolen bases.
There you
That
go.
was, I mean, if you're trying to test out the knee, one way to do that is to swipe some bags, and he did it twice. He's now leading the team in stolen bases. So he and
did that last
Dansby
year, I'm
Swanson,
assuming, right?
yeah, he and Dansby Swanson had have 2 on the year apiece, and Acuna's only played 1 game. So he's on pace for for quite a few stolen bags right now.
Well,
like
that,
over
that
200.
may be, Chris, obviously you would know better than I, but that seems to be one part of the team's game that he brings to the table above everybody else, perhaps, that might be able to make a huge difference is on the bases, right? I mean, we know his hitting, we know his fielding and his arm, but, bringing that speed on the bases, it's huge.
Yeah, he gives you an opportunity to get your leadoff man in scoring position. Really, quickly, because if he gets on, he can take second with relative ease, to be honest. So it's important for the Braves to have someone like that. Ozzie can probably steal bases and has stolen bases, but he's not the guy that you expect to get 30 or 35 a year like Ronald Acuna. So again, last night, another brilliant performance from the Vandy boy, Kyle Wright. 3 hits over 7 innings and no earned runs. He was just everything that you wanted to see out of him, and he's been that way all year. So it seems like every year there's one young pitcher who turns up to be
the A or the 1A.
Yeah, just a guy who you weren't maybe expecting to contribute at a high level. I'm not sure if you can hear that, but it's very frustrating when I can hear it on ESPN.com.
What's that?
Commercials for Kias.
I
just
did
in my ears.
not hear that.
Good.
You said on your computer it came through?
That's great. It's very frustrating. Anyway, but 2 years ago it was Mike Soroka.
Yep.
And then last year Max Fried kind of came along, and Ian Anderson.
Yeah.
And now this year you're seeing Bryce Elder and Kyle Wright both pitch really well. So even Inoa, before he hurt his hand last year, was a fantastic starting pitcher. So right now, especially with Charlie Morton struggling the way he is, Max Fried has kind of found his groove. He's won his last 2 outings, and he'll have an outing in this weekend series with the Rangers. But here's the thing. Atlanta's got to find a way to take the next series in Texas. Texas, a very, very solid team. So this is not going to be this won't be a series like it was against the Cubs. But the most important thing is after Texas, you go to New York for the Mets. You're 5 games down in the National League East. You certainly cannot afford to go 8 down. So you can't look ahead, but you also have to you have to be aware that the New York Mets loom after this weekend series. And I'm glad that we've seen Travis Demerit, we've seen Adam Duvall hit a home run last night, his first of the year. We've seen the return of Ronald Acuna Jr. I think this is the perfect time for the Braves to kind of find their groove. So I will say this is unique. I didn't realize this. Texas is 2-8 at home.
Wow.
So maybe it will be better, more similar to the Cubs series than I expected.
Well, you start with one series, and with all the noise, the outside noise, and despite how much professional athletes try to push that out, you're aware of what's going on around you, and that you haven't won a series, and so I'm sure that was a big deal for this team, coupled with getting Ronald Acuna back, and the momentum from that. Now, granted, baseball your momentum is only as good as they say is your next day's starter, right? However, I think hopefully it can roll over into this, and being on the road may help. You don't have all the distractions from home. So this could be a pivotal moment in this season that we look back and say, this is where maybe they fully screwed in the light bulb and they figured it out, and they got that mojo back. They see that hangover that you feel, or that is hanging over perceptually, at least, from World Championships, with all the hoopla from that opening weekend, and
it's finally calming down.
Yeah, maybe all that is over, and they've gotten over that hump, and they're just back to playing baseball. They got their guy back. They're on the road, so hopefully this could be a thing. And as you talk about going to that series with the Mets, you take 2 out of 3 in Texas, and then you do the same in New York, and I mean,
you're right back in this thing.
You're right back in the middle of it, and it's a whole new season. This and we're not, and just as you get into May, so
which is exactly what you just want to be within striking distance when it gets to June.
Yeah.
That's kind of how you feel. So I think that's the most important thing. You're right. Dansby Swanson 2 for 3 last night with an RBI and a run scored. He did strike out once, but he also walked once.
There you go.
So his average above the Mendoza line. So that's solid.
Maybe something about just the Wendi boys in midweek games. I don't know.
I think it just takes him a little bit of time to get going. That's just the way it is. Adam Duvall.
I don't know if you caught my Wendi boys midweek. Okay, all right. You just
nice.
chose to jump.
I went right through it. Duvall with a 2-run homer. Yeah, there's no question there. It doesn't matter.
Simon.
We don't lose weekend series. It's just the most important ones.
That's right.
But yeah, Travis d'Arnaud went 2 for 4 last night. Ozuna 2 for 4. Just a great night to kind of get, again, exactly what I said before this series. It's time to get right. Use this Cubs series to do so. It seems like the Braves have done that. So we'll see what happens in Texas this weekend. It should be a lot of fun.
I'll give you a ding for getting right last night.
Ain't no doubt. All right, let's go back in history. What do you say?
Let's do it.
I believe it was on this day in, what is today, the 29th?
29th of
1953.
April. Hello.
Yeah, Joe Adcock, 475-foot mammoth third inning home run in Milwaukee's 3-2 win over the hometown Giants, becomes the first player in Major League history to homer into the Polo Grounds center field bleachers. The Coogan's Bluff feat, which will occur for the third and final time when Hank Aaron and Lou Brock go deep on consecutive days in 1962, was first accomplished by Luke Easter playing for the Homestead Grays in a 1948 Negro League contest. But
that's
today,
a blast to the Polo Grounds.
It was, 475 is about what you had to hit it to get it out.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a massive shot. So there you go. That was today in Braves history, April 29th in 1953. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will have Wendi Scott. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint, comes back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
Are you an enthusiastic sports fan? Want to have fun and get in on the action?
Heck yes, that'd be awesome.
Have great attention to detail? Want to stay active?
Definitely.
Want to give back to the student athletes in your community?
Obviously, yes.
Then you'd make an excellent high school sports official. We need more officials in Tennessee. Because with no high school officials, there are no high school sports. Sign up today at highschoolofficials.com.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net. Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. As you saw twice during that commercial break and every other commercial break just about, we appreciate the fine folks at Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint for all of their support of Main Street Sports today. We'd love to have your business's support as well. If you would like to reach out, we'd happily talk with you. You know how to get to us. It's pretty easy. Main Street Sports Today on Facebook, at MS_Sports Today on Twitter. Excited to get into this next segment because this is sort of breaking news. Right after we got off the show yesterday, find out, JP, that your County Cats have found themselves a replacement for the recently opened girls basketball position, and didn't have to go far to get it.
Just down the bench, actually. One or two seats down. She's been on the staff for the last, 2-3 years. Wendi Scott, the newly named, also former Lawrence County girls basketball coach, is back on the end of the bench. Wendi, welcome into Main Street Sports Today. Congrats.
Thank you, JP. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on today.
You've been through quite the whirlwind with coaching, and a couple of trips to Murfreesboro, an almost trip to Murfreesboro and back. You've been at Lawrence County before. Of course, you played on the state championship team back in 1998. Your coach is now your principal. I'm curious what that interview was like, talking with Willie Joyner and the potential of getting back in that. I'm sure that had to feel kind of special with the opportunity there.
Yeah, it really did. It was. I told him it's kind of neat, that he's back here as principal. Of course, I was excited for him to be back at LCHS, whether I was here or not. I was excited for our school to have some leadership like him, and just excited about the opportunity. It was a little weird in the interview, but I don't know what to think about it. It just I didn't know what to think about it. It was good though.
Yeah, I'm sure it was interesting, but I'm curious, what's different at the school, the program, girls basketball in high school, since the last time you were at Lawrence County? What's the biggest difference that you can ascertain?
Well, I mean, a lot of it, there's not been a lot of changes. There's been some upgrades in facilities. Coach Porter got, a new floor going, new scoreboards, the weight room. They upgraded, so they were able to do a lot facility-wise to make things better. The people are still great people, and that's what it's all about is the people. And obviously, I know a lot about the players. I got to coach them. Growing up, I started that group when they were in third grade. The sophomores and juniors who will be upcoming juniors and seniors. So it's just kind of special for me to be able to get back and coach them again.
The 201 game winner.
Hey,
Wendi Scott. Yeah, she hit that 200 win mark and said, "You know what? I've had enough of this."
It's like Crash Davis. I hit my dinger and hung him up, but she's back.
but she is back. So
you don't ever know where I'm gonna end up, but hopefully this will be it.
Well, and that's what I was going to go.
Plans anyway.
That's where I was going to go with this. It's nice to hopefully, you always want to kind of come home and give back to the program that built you, and having a chance to potentially finish out your career at your alma mater, and the place that you've spent the last couple of years, and being able to raise your family in your hometown, that has to mean something pretty special to you.
It does. This school community and this basketball program especially means the world to me, and it's just a special place. I think it's one of the best schools that you can attend in the county and in the state as well. But it just means so much to me to be able to give back to this community, and just be able to be there for them and help build the program into something that we can be proud of. It really can't get any better to me right now.
Well, and obviously for years and years and years, District 8 AAA and all that goes with that, now much different than it was when you were playing and coaching in that district. And so, obviously having been on the staff last year, it makes a little bit of a difference. But what is, what is the difference now with the current 8 AAA, that it certainly looks a little different than it used to?
It does. Well, obviously we went down in a classification. We're 3A now, whereas there's 4 classifications.
Right.
The travel is a lot different. To me, our travel schedule last year was not near as brutal as far as our district games as what it used to be. Coffee County, Franklin County, and Chevrolet, we don't go to those anymore. And so I feel like that is huge. I mean, it's tough going over an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours during the week. It just wears on you after a while. So I'm excited about getting to be just a little bit closer. And then, we've got a few new teams, Marshall and Spring Hill. It's still going to be challenging. Page is in our district. It's always going to be a challenge. I don't care what level you're on. You're eventually going to run into talented teams, and you've got to be able to have some talent along with, just the grit and will to win, which is hopefully some things that I can try to instill in our players. But the region is different. We're not in Murfreesboro region anymore, which to some people is good, but to me, it's still the same. We have a lot of really strong teams. Upperman's in our region. They won the state tournament this past year. Page was in the state tournament. It's still very challenging, and it's never going to be easy. So I don't really look at the classifications. I mean, there's teams in single A and double A that you have to really be good to beat. So I try to just focus on our team becoming the best that it can be, and just reaching our full potential, and whatever that is. Once we get going this summer, I can kind of look and see what we're capable of, and I have a good idea of it. Our girls made a lot of strides in the right direction last year, making it to that district championship game. And I think that did a lot for their confidence and getting to host that first round. And I hope that we can just build on what Coach Porter did with them last year and just move forward.
Wendi Scott, our guest on Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. The newly named Lawrence County girls basketball coach. It'll be her second stint. And Wendi, as I was thinking about that, the last coach at Lawrence County that had a second stint in basketball, actually, Shane Clark, of course. You're kind of falling in those footsteps of having a very successful first stint. You kind of slide away and then you come back. So have you talked to him about what it's like? I mean, you've been around because you've been on faculty, so it's not like – and he was as well. But have you had a conversation with him about a second time around as the head coach?
Oh, yeah. Coach Clark and I, have a lot of conversation. He's always been a mentor to me.
Yeah.
So I've always looked up to him and what he's been able to accomplish. And he's helped me out tremendously over the years, but we still have a good relationship. And, I'm really focused on just trying to enjoy it this time.
Yeah.
And I think being away from it and, getting to see from a different perspective, I think that's going to help me enjoy it more. I'm really hard on myself, so I'm going to try to do better with that part and handle the stress of the job. Coaching's not easy, and it's a lot of fun, but it also adds a lot of stress. So I'm hoping that I can enjoy it more in the moment than what I did last time, and I do think that I can do that.
Wendi, I know you got to get out of here because you got to go meet your team. Are you meeting them for the first time as the head coach here in just a few moments?
Yes, yes, we'll have our first team meeting today.
What are you going to say to them first, or do you know yet?
Well, I'm just going to go through and tell them, why I chose to be their coach, and basically just go over my role and as a leader and how I'm going to help serve them and help them become the best they can be while they're at LCHS.
All right.
That's fantastic, Coach. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking time with us today, because it's, I know obviously short notice, but it's always great to get a chance to talk to especially coaches like yourself who have been successful in the mid-state area and just let folks know that basketball in Middle Tennessee is still pretty darn good, especially on the girls' side. So we're looking forward to next year with you.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Thanks, Wendi. Thank
you.
All right, we are going to take a quick break here, JP.
Let's do it.
And we'll go to the second half, but we may have some wild and wacky stuff coming up in that in this second half. So we've got the Titans, obviously, and the NFL draft thoughts coming up in the next segment, but some wild and wacky stuff. And what are we looking forward to? What are you looking forward to? We'll tell you on the other side. So stick around. Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We'll come back after this.
This is Chris Yao with Main Street Sports Today. Every show, Mo Patton and I welcome friends from all across the sports landscape, from high school coaches and reporters to national, college, and pro sports personalities. You never know who might stop by for a chat. AP Tennessee Sports Editor, three-time Tennessee Sports Writer of the Year 2020 TSWA Hall of Famer. She covers the Titans, the Predators, the Grizzlies, college football, and hoops. Please make welcome Teresa Walker.
Former University of Tennessee, former Team USA Olympian, ex-Cy Young Award winner, R.A. Dickey. R.A., did I miss anything?
Man, that was sweet. Yeah, I need to listen to that before I go to bed every night. That was nice.
Has 5 sports Emmys. That's not bad for the other guy in Wham, Ryan McGee.
The other guy in Wham married the best looking girl, Bananarama, so the other guy in Wham had a pretty good life.
From preps to pros, we're taking on the sports topics you care about. Tune in across Main Street Media social platforms at 2 p.m. or on demand on your podcast distribution platform of choice.
All right. righty, time for the second half of Main Street Sports today on this Friday edition. Already visited with Jeff Him and Wendi Scott. Fun conversations, but Chris and I still haven't talked about the topic du jour. Titans NFL draft, round 1 last night. Big trade. Big trade. We'll get our reaction coming up. Also, well, we're looking ahead to the weekend as well. So all that and more, plenty to get to. Thanks for hanging out with us on this Friday. JP here with you, alongside the Sundrop Kid from Alabama, Chris Yao, as Mo Patton on a much-deserved vacation. Maybe sipping Mai Tais and eating some fresh seafood, surf and turf. You never can tell. Living it up. Chris, happy Friday, second half. We've been itching. Last night in the NFL draft is what Twitter was made for. I mean, the stories flying around, and it was fantastic last night. And I know you and I have been itching to get into this conversation.
Yeah, Twitter was invented for live sports. I swear it was, and no different last night in the NFL draft. What a fantastic draft. Let's be honest. An NFL record, 5 consecutive defensive players come off the board to start the draft. That's never happened before, and it's almost like, teams are starting to realize, hey, you know what? Defense it's important. You don't just quarterbacks and wide receivers are great and running backs or whatever, but even offensive tackles, they go number 1 a lot, but it's important. Defense is important.
One quarterback drafted last night, Kenny Pickett, I think 20th. The Steelers, wherever, I think it was 20th, 21st, somewhere in that range. And that was the only one. Last night, Georgia, 5 defensive players were selected in that first round, which is a record. They've got another one that's sitting right there.
Probably the best
available.
The best player on that defense last year and didn't go in the first round. So that just goes to show you that the depth that Georgia had, obviously. Yep. And then, you had you had 4 wide receivers go off the board before pick 18.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when you go, my gosh, this is a deep draft for a lot of different positions, but obviously not at quarterback, which is unusual. Typically quarterback, and we knew that. We knew that going in, right? I mean, we knew this wasn't a deep quarterback draft, and I feel bad for Malik Willis, who was obviously on hand last night and just kind of had to sit and wait, kind of Brady Quinn-esque. And, but I really wasn't paying much attention because I was just waiting for 26 to come up, and so I'm watching the Braves, I'm watching the Predators, and then I see a text message come across my phone from Andrew Moore. Yeah. The intern says, "I want to die."
I bet he was spinning around.
And my immediate reaction was, "Oh dear God, did we take a quarterback at 26 and I missed it?" No, it was worse.
Worse for some people, yeah.
Well, I mean, immediate reaction, it's worse.
Yeah, immediate reaction it was because
just straight off the top, you go, holy crap, what are we doing? We've sent A.J. Brown for 2 picks.
Mm-hmm.
That's it? It just felt like it wasn't enough, right?
It on the surface, you're correct, because A.J. coming into his own as one of the premier wide receivers in all of football and a predominant number 1 wide receiver. And you figure he's, loved by the fans. He loved it in Nashville, and he was a special player, is a special player. And so, and all this talk leading up to it, there were rumors flying, and smoke screens, the draft, you never can tell, but, the idea that the Titans would actually trade A.J. Brown seemed kind of far-fetched, right? I mean, everybody kind of had that, like, yeah, there's talks about it. Deebo Samuel wants out. I mean, obviously A.J. wants more money. There's a short window here for wide receivers, that are making bank right now. Obviously, Tyreek Hill in Miami. You've got the Packers, Devontae Adams, that is now with the Raiders, making over $100 million. Debo's asking for that, and so AJ felt, and rightfully so. I think he's in that category. I don't think there's any question he's in that category. To get that money, and the Titans,
the Jaguars and Christian Kirk screwed everything up.
That may have been the worst, yeah. But
that's what screwed everything up.
Yeah, you've got these others, but you never thought that they actually would trade him, because it's outside of Derrick Henry, he's probably that one player on this franchise that you thought, hey, nobody's touching
was untouchable.
Him. Yeah, it was untouchable. But when you look at it, and I'll play a little contrarian just to throw this out there, because I know how it's yet to be determined, and it's not a slam dunk at all. But financially speaking, and I know that's what John Robinson has talked about. When you look at $100 million he signed, A.J. Brown did with the Eagles, 57 guaranteed. The receiver coming in at that spot in the draft is probably going to cost $3 to $4 million, maybe $15 million over 3 years. So, A.J. Brown is going to make more money in 1 year than Burks is going to make on his rookie contract combined. So there were a lot of talk about that Burks is kind of a clone of A.J. Brown, at least physically.
But just not quite as good as A.J. Brown.
Well, not yet, because he hasn't spent 3 years in the league. Can he possibly? Will he? We don't know. And so you're giving away something. You're trading a known for an unknown, and you're saving a ton of money to do it. And that's part of the NFL and pro sports in general. Is you got to be able to make the money, except for baseball, I think. But in the NFL, you got to work within those boundaries to some degree. And so it's a yet to be determined. Now, personally, for me, something that will ease the pain of losing A.J. Brown, if we get a receiver that on paper could be close to what A.J. Brown was and is, maybe. I think it's a solid pick if you take A.J. Brown out of the mix, right? I mean, it's a solid pick for a wide receiver. So,
well, had he been there at 26, you go, this is the best thing. This is the best pick you could have made.
To jump up and trade A.J. Brown, that was the hard part to take, I think, when you jump up to trade. But if you get
a guy who you probably could have gotten at 26,
but if the Titans use those extra draft picks that they traded out of that 26 pick.
And got two others.
So they're compiling those draft picks. So perhaps there is a potential move to get a solid tight end, and something that is coming
a tight end.
Why not?
We don't need it. We don't need a tight end.
We don't need a tight end.
We just got the dude from the Browns.
That's right. Well, I was just thinking because of at the Preds game the other night that you and I saw.
Oh, George Kittle.
Kittle, who I was just going to throw that little contrarian angle to it, but I see another move of maybe utilizing the picks that they got from these moves to get another player. But I think if coming out of this, they save a ton of money, they get a really good young wide receiver, and they get another X, whatever that is, that they would not have gotten had they not made the trade. I guess you got to get something else big out of this, I think, other than just drafting a bunch of players, I guess is where I'm going. Right?
Here's the problem.
Make another move with this.
Here's the problem. His 2018 draft was so good.
Yeah.
With the Mississippi boys, A.J. Brown and Jeffrey Simmons, you had to pay both of them.
That's true.
And with the capital and the salary cap that the Titans were working for, it didn't look like it was going to be possible. And here's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is those are two. Thank you, Christian Kirk, and Debo Samuel's going to get that $100 million. Tyreek Hill's going to get the $100 million. Christian Kirk's getting a bunch of money. You couldn't even tag A.J. Brown for less than $100 million.
Yeah,
or 25 for the year.
Yeah,
So that's where the issue comes in, is that you say, well, we just tag him.
Yep.
Well, you have to pay him the average of the top 5 salaries in the league, and it's still going to be 20 to 25 million. So
Yeah,
if we're
either
only willing to pay 16,
exactly. I mean, the Titans were in a position where either AJ was going to have to settle for less than what he wanted to stay with the Titans, or this, right?
or get something while you can.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's understandable.
Sure.
I'm not saying that that I don't understand it. It's just it is an absolute just gut punch if you're a Titans fan, because you know what you're getting with AJ Brown. You don't know what you're getting with Treylon Burks. You feel like you're getting a very similar wide receiver, but you don't know how that's going to translate to the pro game. I mean, you just don't know. And so you hope at 35 or 69, you get a guy like maybe George Pickens to also come in. You hope that Robert Woods comes off of that injury and can be a number 1.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. And I saw this tweet moments ago, and I think that some folks might want to think about it. At the end of the day, Corey Davis, Big Al, it's been some folks leave Tennessee for more money and go, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And I hate that, because I would love, I mean, by the time that he's back available outside of any trades, he's probably, a little far gone.
AJ, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just unfortunate that you're going to see a guy who you thought was going to be your franchise player outside of Derrick Henry on offense anyway. Obviously, that defense is just loaded. Zach Cunningham, Jeffrey Simmons, Tyler Tart, all of those guys.
Yeah.
So I don't know. After sleeping on it and seeing and really feeling like, okay, I understand the process and the thought process behind this, is it discouraging because you feel like maybe they've punted on this year and they're going to go get a quarterback, in the tonight in the draft? Maybe Desmond Ridder is available at 35, which is what, the third pick in the second round?
It is. Titans do right now hold the 3rd pick in tonight's second round behind the Bucks and the Vikings. And then, of course, they also
have 69.
Yep, which is in the so they only have that one. They did not have a second round pick coming into
had a
this
third
draft.
round pick.
They had a 3rd round, and so they added a 3rd, I believe, with the trade
to 69.
To 69, and then they've got 90, and then of course that getting into the second round last night, trading their 26th, and jumping out of that pick there. So they put them in a good spot for tonight, and I think this trade, we can't really judge it on its merit until the whole draft is complete, until you see what was done with all the pieces, because you've added some pieces, meaning draft picks, that you could either use to draft a bunch of players, to bundle together to make another trade, to get another maybe high-profile player, perhaps. So who knows? Until we see what John Robinson does with the shift in what they've got now, I don't think we can really truly judge what this means for the Titans at this point until we see what happens.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's going to be 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeah, well,
too,
I mean,
because you got to see
the draft. Well, at the end of the draft, you'll know, did they just draft some players, or did they make a trade? That's what I'm getting at. Did they just draft or did they package some of these and get another player through another trade? I think me personally, if they don't make another move by utilizing some of the extra components that they have made with this draft and the extra money that they were going to save, by not having to pay AJ Brown, if they just draft a bunch of young guys I think it's a horrible move on its merit. Now, I mean, again, and we won't know. I mean, some of those may pan out, and you may have 5 great players, but unless you get another good component, I think, out of this by utilizing the drafts that they got, I don't know how you can put a positive spin on it. But we can't judge it until Sunday night, in my opinion, or until Saturday night.
Well, yeah, specifically, I mean, you've got 5 picks, 3 tonight, and then you've got 2 more in the 4th round where J-Rob has traditionally made some great value picks. So, obviously, but in 2 or 3 years, we'll know for sure if they won the trade or not. We'll find out.
I think we'll find out and be able to make a reasonable assumption on positive, negative at the end of Saturday night. Again, if they just get a bunch of if they just select players and don't use those to trade, to basically do what the Eagles did, then I'd be hardcore to think that it was a positive thing. It still could be, but as we look at it, when you start grading the drafts as we all do, and I don't think it's going to be a good grade if they just use these just to get a bunch of players.
Yeah,
shrink the numbers. You gotta if you take away somebody like an AJ Brown, you got to try to find somebody close.
Well, they found somebody close. The problem is that they currently have 2 number 2 receivers and then a fringe guy, Noah Westbrook-Akine, who you just are hoping for some help from.
Yeah.
Granted, they did upgrade the tight end position quite a bit.
It helps.
It certainly helps Ryan Tannehill. I think outside of Todd Downing, the biggest issue with Ryan Tannehill last season was not having a tight end he could really count on.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the fact that Julio and AJ were both out for quite a bit of time last year as well. And so you got to think about that. We couldn't pay this guy who may or may not play all 17 games next year. And I get it. Look, I get it. But he's still the best wide receiver in franchise history.
He is. And you weigh those things out. You're right. If you're going to pay somebody $100 million, you better damn well be on the field every Sunday.
Every Sunday. That's right. I agree.
Sunday, regardless, I'm not saying that his injuries weren't warranted, but, that's part of it. Some people are more prone to have injuries or not, and that is part of their value with what you pay. So, I don't think it's as clear-cut, horrible decision as it felt last night. It felt awful last night. It did feel like a gut punch because, you're like I said, outside of Derrick Henry, he was probably the most untouchable, most favorite player, I guess, to some degree.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have traded Ryan Tannehill and people would have been fine. Jeffrey Simmons might be in that category with AJ. Might be, but he's a defensive guy. People just don't respond to defensive players unless you're Lawrence Taylor.
Which is why they're not drafted number 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5 overall.
Yep, that's right.
Anyway, last night Preds get a big win in overtime. I wanted to mention this because it just, we went to the game Tuesday.
We did.
I started thinking and got my mind going, and I asked Sarah, I said, hey, can you look up a picture from when you and I went to our first Preds game when we first moved here? She said, yeah, sure. I've been to 2 Preds regular season hockey games. Both of them, they lost to Calgary in a shootout in 2017, lost to Calgary in overtime. So the next time I go, they're going to lose to Calgary in regulation, I guess.
Just don't go when they play Calgary.
Yeah, just don't go when they play Calgary. That is the key for me.
Yeah. There are obviously 31 other teams you can go see them play.
Yeah, exactly, 30. So, Riddick with a big win last night. A great job in the shootout, getting a stop on all 3 of the Avs shots, even though he did get leveled by the crossbar. Did you see that?
No, but does that help your confidence in him going into the playoffs?
No. He still gave up 4 goals. Now, again, it's the Avalanche, but neither here nor there. I mean, he was just skating along in the middle of the I guess a whistle blew and he ran right into the crossbar, just like that clothesline by the crossbar. So
it's Red Rover.
I guess. But big win again. Yossi with another goal, his 23rd, which ties Shane Weber for the franchise record for goals by a defenseman. 95 points on the year for Johansson. Wow. So it's been a really solid year for these Predators, and they control their own destiny tonight. I guess we'll see Connor Ingram in goal against Arizona, so should be fun. Let's take a break. Some semi-breaking news, JP, on the other side. So we will do that. We will talk about a couple of other little things and clean it up, and then we'll get to what we're looking forward to most this weekend. So stick around. Main Street Sports Day presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint comes back after this.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ed Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, ZionEagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's ZionEagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Main Street today is your half-hour coffee break with Miss Devin O'Day, featuring lifestyle, inspiration, and entertainment news. Main Street today airs live weekdays at 11 a.m. Central, or you can catch it on demand on all the Main Street media social platforms, including highlights on Instagram at Main Street Today Radio. Take your daily coffee break with Miss Devin O'Day on Main Street Today. It's weekdays, 11 a.m. on all of these Main Street media social platforms. As we bring in, yay!
What's up?
A little special guest.
Yeah, a little cameo here from Charlie. She wants to play with the microphone, but I'm trying to stop her, and it's not working right now, so it's okay.
Fun-looking microphone. It is, Charlie. I don't blame you.
Yeah, there you go. What's up? Tell him. Say hi. No? Okay. The semi-breaking news, JP, is that Trevor Bauer suspended for 324 games.
324 games.
That's 162 times 2.
Okay. Two whole seasons.
2 entire seasons for violating the domestic abuse or domestic violence and sexual assault policy. Now, here's the thing.
Yep.
In the strongest possible terms, I deny committing any violation of the league's domestic violence and sexual assault policy. I'm in the process of appealing this action and expect to prevail. As we have throughout this process, my representatives and I respect the confidentiality of the proceedings.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I guess the burden of proof is much lower for Major League Baseball than our court system.
I was going to say, I haven't been following. Has he gone through is the legal system played out in this?
Yes, he will not face charges.
He will not face charges.
Correct.
So,
and
not
yet,
only was he not convicted, charges have been dropped?
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
And yet,
interesting.
He is now missing. Oh, and his and all of that time he spent last year does not count.
Yeah, I don't think it's the last we're hearing. We'll hear about this. I'm sure his representation of the players' union will be, I'm sure, stepping in on this. Right?
Oh, there's zero question they're going to be involved in this. I don't see how it turns out any other way than Trevor Bauer playing baseball.
Yeah. Is Major League Baseball similar to, say, the NFL, where the commissioner has complete autonomy to levy these types of fines or suspensions? I mean, is that totally up to the commissioner, or is there like a group, a board, or who determines that? Do you know?
It's probably a board. I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure the commissioner has quite a bit of say in it. But yeah, this is going to be a long process.
You know, I don't know a whole lot about this. 2 years seems like a long time. Now,
and really, it's almost 3 because he spent most of last year on leave.
And I get you've got some rules, if you will, and policies that of conduct that you want your players and employees to abide by. And you can, if you do some stuff, I get it. Maybe a small suspension, but it seems excessive for not being convicted in the legal world. Just on the surface. Again, I know nothing more than what you just told me about it. So,
yeah, I mean, I followed it enough to have some thoughts on it, and honestly, I feel like if you're going to make that call, then you better be real sure.
I mean, this is nothing more than making a statement, right? An example, if you will.
I mean,
does he have a past of discretions that are maybe?
I mean, outside of his being annoying. I mean, he does the one eye closed thing when he's pitching, and he's kind of got a mouth on him, but like, it's not anything just crazy that would warrant saying that this is a habitual offender type act.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
I don't know, man. Let's close the show with what we're looking forward to this weekend.
Let's do it.
And I'll tell you, I think I'm most looking forward to the complaints of traffic from Nashville Soccer Club's opening game.
Oh boy,
Sunday at Geodis. I think, as you know, anyone who's driven down Wedgwood knows that it's as I like to say, a mell of a Hess most days. I mean, if you've just been down there for the flea market, it's hard. You're talking about soccer, full sold out.
Yeah,
the interstate's going to be just don't even drive in Nashville on Sunday. Just don't do it.
30,000. Is that what we're?
I think it's something like roughly that. I mean, let me see here.
That's a Sunday. Maybe it won't be as bad. Right?
It's sold out.
Yeah, but I mean, traffic-wise, being Sunday, you don't have the regular weekday traffic mixed in, so maybe it won't be as bad. You can get around 440. You can get around. You just don't take that little stretch of I-65 between the 440 and the downtown split, right?
Yeah, you're definitely going to need to go around downtown for sure.
Don't go to Wedgwood. Don't go east of Belmont on Wedgwood Avenue because it will back up on that side of the interstate.
Oh, gosh,
Don't
yes.
do it. I mean, basically stay on the other side of 21st and you'll be fine.
If
right?
if you can. So that's what I'm most looking forward to, JP. I know last week, tell us about your trip to Nashville. Speaking of going to downtown Nashville.
Oh, yeah, last weekend.
Yeah.
Going to Green Hills twice in one day.
Twice in one day. You did a great job.
You know, it's funny. You and Mo were rightfully so questioning my sanity of wanting to do certain things in the order with which we did them. But we wanted to go to Trader Joe's. We when we lived in Charlotte, my wife and I, we had 3 of those, and that was our grocery store. And so it was nice to be able to go that. Well, we wanted to go to the one in Green Hills because our dinner reservation was at Green Hills. And so we were thinking we go early, go to Green Hills, Uber it downtown, go watch the the musical Come From Away, which was fantastic at TPAC. I mean, absolute fantastic. And then we would come back to Green Hills and have dinner. It was interesting because getting into Green Hills, even at like 11 o'clock, 11:30 when we were getting there, my patience had run thin already, and Jody was questioning me, so I thought it was funny because I told her about what you and Mo were telling me that I don't know if you want to do that. I don't know if you want to go to Green Hills twice in one day, but we had a good time. The play was fantastic, and dinner was great as well. So it was a good day. A good day.
So what's on tap for this weekend?
This weekend, not a whole lot. I mean, going to watch a little draft, the Grizzlies tonight. Those 2 things certainly are going to be on tap for this evening. Outside of that, kind of a relaxing weekend. Because after last weekend, I need to recoup a bit. So it's going to be a lay low type of weekend, and then the weather's going to be fairly decent. I mean, we might get a little rain here or there, but it's not going to be too bad.
I will tell you that's this is my last weekend, that I really have some time to relax.
Yeah, for wedding
before wedding season really kicks off. So I am certainly going to make this one as relaxing as I possibly can.
By the way, Jeff Him was really impressed. He had a question for you.
I know. I wish that I had not.
When you were having, I think he wanted to talk. As soon as I brought that up, Chris, he was like, "Do we want to talk baseball, or do we want to talk DJ?"
Hold on a minute. I got questions.
He was interested. He was intrigued, and may have to continue that next Friday when we chat with him again.
There you go.
So,
we will be back on Monday. You and I will be in studio on Monday, but we will be back on Monday. So you guys come hang out with us at 2:00, as always, 2 to 3:30. Mo will be in the middle of the ocean, so we will not have him at all next week. Hopefully, we will have a couple of special guests, one particularly on Thursday in studio with us, but we may also have some other special guests throughout the week hanging out with us. And so stick around all week long next week and power through without Mo. But JP and I will hold down the fort the best we can, won't we?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks to Wendi Scott. Congrats to her, new Lawrence County girls basketball coach. Jeff Him, as always, Chris. He's just a good dude.
He's fantastic, and I really and they're back. They're back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week. So make sure to go check out the Sounds down at First Horizon.
I like this 6-game one-team series. Tuesday through Sunday, every week. Monday off, Tuesday through Sunday, new team. I like it.
It is simple, and it's really fun to watch. Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
All right, we're going to get out of here. So for Mo, wherever he may be in New Orleans, and JP in the Berg, I'm Chris Yao coming to you from Columbia. Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
The weekend.